Hello, everyone. Welcome to Joe Consume Cinema. I'm your host, Total Recall, and today we have Severance Season 2, Episode 6. So last time was interesting. Things ended with Mark seeming to regain, his work memories. He had that flashback to that wellness meeting that he had with Miss Casey when he was on the inside, and seeing his wife for the first time in, however long it's been, thinking she's dead, and then being face to face with her like that. Very emotional, very important. So yeah, I know it was going to take its time, but we finally have, real confirmation from Mark that his wife is alive, and that's going to motivate the hell out of him. He and Ragabe are going to work to make this totally complete. And then, yeah, we should have our man on the inside, I think. The whole work dynamic is really messed up now. Mark deeply mistrusts Helly. He flat out can't know whether or not he's talking to Heliar or Helena, and that thought is deeply disturbing to him. It still has not been revealed to Heliar exactly the extent of what happened when Helena was in control. At some point, that's going to be revealed. She's probably going to freak the fuck out about it. Irving gave that coded message about hang in there. Behind the painting, left a little note. It has the image of the exporter door where Miss Casey and all the others get sent to. We got kind of a tease of the actual exporter. Didn't see his face or anything like that, at least not clearly. I threw out a random guess that it sounded like Kevin Spacey's voice. That's possible. I also may be conflating with something else, so we're going to see if there's any truth to that. But yeah, it looked like the guy had surgical equipment, like scalpels and also the stuff that you would use to clean teeth with. So who knows what the hell is going on, down in the basement, essentially. Other than that, I do think Helena actually is jealous of Mark S. and Helly R's relationship. That's why she weaseled her way into that situation to begin with. I don't buy the whole nonsense, about the Swedish king going undercover amongst his people to see what it's really like. When she talked with the board, she called them animals and couldn't care less about them. When she's on her own, there's that moment where she was staring at Mark, kind of like with longing, like wishing she could have that. And yeah, it's a really interesting dynamic because she's definitely a villain, but there's more going on there, and it's just something to keep in mind for the future. But yeah, I want to get right to this one. It should be a really good episode, but before I begin, as always, remember to blank, blank, and blank. And with that, let's get right to the episode.
I mean, why is she rattling off a bunch of facts? What are they doing to her?
All I know is she's essential.
She didn't even recognize me.
The Gemma you know is still in there.
So there's a floor beneath us.
That must be where they're keeping her. You okay?
He's going to slowly start to get more and more of it back until he's one person, I think. It's just going to take time.
You cannot graduate from this fellowship until I have deemed you wintertide material, eradicating from your essence childish folly.
I understand, sir.
So she's an intern.
Had sex at the retreat.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, obviously, I thought it was you. I'd been having those feelings since, like, before the OTC.
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry, Ellie. She tricked me. I mean, I wanted to, but she tricked both of us. Like,
I'm gonna go for a walk.
Telling you, tantamount to rape. Is he really practicing with the paper clips so he gets it the right way?
I sometimes wonder if you're just not happy.
Sure, it's not that. Here, with you, I'm super happy.
I like this.
This whole dynamic is super weird. Is she like slowly becoming more attracted to him than her actual husband?
What sucks is that she got to have that and I didn't. Use my body to get close to you. That she dresses me in the morning like I'm a baby. Trolls me and this company and all of us. It's disgusting.
hey, do you want me to, like, describe right
No,
now?
I don't want her memory. I want my own.
So they are a really good couple, but this whole tragedy is Mark S. and Helly R. deserve to be together, but so does Mark and Gemma. You can't have a situation where it's going to work out in the long run.
You must eradicate from your essence childish folly. You must eradicate from yourself childish folly. You must abandon childish things. You
Literally,
must grow up.
literally dumbing himself down.
Grow up.
Was it different with me?
Oh no, you're bleeding.
Oh, you are.
Oh, God.
Humidity on the severed floor is maintained at a consistent 45%. It must be something else.
Oh.
Did you punch him?
I mean, not today.
What were you doing when the nosebleed occurred?
We were refining something.
Any auras or hallucinations?
No. I'm at Lumen.
What?
Fuck, I was just...
Mark?
I remember a desk. I remember...
That was another crossover memory. A recent one, that's good. There's a slight chance of hemorrhage.
Okay, so me bleeding to death.
Not necessarily.
You know what? Get the fuck off me. I am not doing this.
We're close, it's
okay?
happening.
Get this shit
We
off.
need to
right now,
push.
please.
I think Ragabe is willing to sacrifice Mark to get what she wants.
Sorry about the last time. I'm sure that felt quite invasive.
Nonsense. What's mine's yours.
This is the exporter, isn't it?
Guided to Lumen's store by Jesus. Jesus Christ? That's the one. The sermon that day is about severance, which was still very new. Pastor says.
As if he'd been listening to our conversation. Church's stance is that innies are complete. With souls can be judged separately from their outie.
So an innie can go to heaven. Marciati Burns.
That is the weirdest motivation ever. These gay men, who were also very religious Christians, found a loophole to get Bird into heaven. This dude at Irving's place, looking for something.
You didn't tell me how to go. You went back to Lumen, right?
They canceled it. I didn't see him.
Oh my God. Jesus.
Mark. Scout. Thought that was you. I'm Helena Egan. I work at Lumen.
Yeah, no, I know who you are.
Well, it's nice to officially meet you. It's really great to run into you. I've heard nothing but good things about your work, by the way.
Thank you. I've heard nothing at all about my work, so...
You should meet him sometime.
Your father?
Sure, why not?
You want to take me home to Dad already?
Yeah, I think it's finally time.
Okay. Sure, let's do it.
I know you've already been through so much with losing your wife and all. Hannah.
Gemma.
What the fuck was that?
Car accident, right?
It got very cold all of a sudden after she messed up her name.
What is it?
Irving has a lot of information on the severed employees.
It wasn't 10 years ago, it was 20.
No.
Yes.
No.
We're having drinks with your Lumon partner.
Didn't the first severed office open 12 years ago? Yes, it did.
Do you think you two ever made love at work?
Fields, Jesus.
There's a non-zero chance that the two of you had unprotected sex. I've been talking to Pastor Gale about this. I believe that innies deserve to experience love.
Sorry for being a dick. Let's do it.
It'll be fast.
How fast?
Very fast.
I'm nervous.
What the fuck?
Don't move like that. Ignore it.
Hey.
Dude, I left you like 5 messages. Are you better?
No, well, I'm still sick.
Oh my god.
Oh God, that's not good.
Don't touch him! Who the fuck are you?
It's okay, buddy. It's okay. It's okay.
It's fuzzy. Like saying I worked at Lumen 20 years ago, which is, of course, before Severance even existed. Of course. Good night, Peg. Good night.
So this whole thing with Bert was just a distraction to get him out of his house so they could rifle through it. Okay, took some time just to gather my thoughts. Another really good episode. A lot is going on, and it's pretty weird. I don't really know where to start. You know, that moment between Helena and Mark S. in the tent, Heliar rightly views that as a violation. I've said repeatedly that it was tantamount to rape. Really is. She's not angry with Mark. There's no way he could have known. And she's not sure what exactly Helena was doing in that moment. It doesn't really make sense to her why she would be there at all. I still think she's genuinely jealous of what her innie has and wants that for herself. But also, she doesn't want to displease her father. She genuinely has disdain for the severed people. And so it was a really nice moment that Heliar and Mark S. actually got to have that moment, but again, it's just destined for tragedy. Mark on the outside wants his wife back, and the only way to do that is to destroy any hope that Mark S. and Heliar have of having like an actual real relationship that goes on. It's kind of like, what is victory here? If Mark on the outside gets his wife back, he's never going to go back to the severed floor, so that's the end of Mark S. Again, as if he's dead from that point onward. He and Heliar can never live, happily ever after. There's no easy solution to any of this, honestly. The whole situation with Irving and Burton Fields is just very weird. Now, I don't know a lot of gay couples, but I know zero gay couples that are gay and are also very religious like these two are. It's very strange and doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That whole situation where Fields was talking about their pastor has this position that innies have souls, and so like it's a clever workaround. If Bert is not very religious himself, therefore he's going to hell. Maybe there's still hope for his innie, but oh, that's crushed now because apparently Irving and Bert on the inside were a couple, even though they weren't really. The closest they ever got was like a kiss. That's just a very strange situation, and the show is filled with weird stuff, but that's up there with one of the weirdest. Only useful tidbit of information is that we learned that while Irving was out, that one guy from the board went into his home and, was looking for anything they could on Irving and what he's up to. Again, Irving seems to have a ton of information about severed employees. Why? We still don't know. We still don't know who he was on the phone with. I think Fields is the exporter. I can't be 100% sure. It was an older white man with graying hair. We only saw him from a distance or like the back of his head. He had a voice similar to Fields' voice, but it was a bit lower, like he was purposefully lowering the volume of it. So yeah, I don't know. They're obviously lying when they talk about, their history together. You saw it in the conversation. Fields mentioned something they've had going on for like 20 years, and that wouldn't make any sense because the earliest severed employee was only 12 years back, so their story doesn't line up, and Irving took note of it. Bert tried to dismiss it as, oh, I think you're having too much wine or something like that. Other than that, the whole scene where Helena went to Mark at the Chinese restaurant, sort of flirting with him at the beginning. It's obvious they have some chemistry even as their outside selves. But there was a moment where, again, I think she did this. She purposefully missaid his wife's name. It was just this abrupt, attitude change. Like, the scene got very cold, whereas before it was somewhat intimate. And, they were joking with one another. And you could tell that the way she was looking at him, she kind of, misses being with him. She liked that experience where they were in that tent together for sure. And that's why I'm kind of confused, because there are times when it seems like she's actually pursuing this romantic relationship seriously. She shifts back to Helena Egan, the Lumen CEO psychopath. So it's this weird dynamic where parts of it seem genuine, but then she flips a switch and she's cold as ice in an instant, and she's obviously after, some other nefarious end there. Yeah, that is very weird. I think it's pretty clear that Rigabe doesn't really care so much about Mark as she wants, a successful reintegration test, and if there are consequences or side effects, she's not really all that concerned with that. She just wants confirmation that she can actually undo this. Something more is going on there too. But at the very end of the episode, she had no other choice but to reveal herself to Mark's sister. She came over right after they did the procedure, and you could tell, he's sweating and he's going through it, trying not to ping pong back and forth, but he doesn't really have any control of it. He's not supposed to move his head or anything like that. He falls to the ground and literally knocks his head against the floor. So yeah, definitely not a good start to that whole thing. I'm just not convinced that Rigabe has Mark's best interest at heart. We still don't know what her motivation for doing all this is quite yet. We know that she's fully committed. She didn't hesitate to kill what's-his-name, the security guy. So yeah, she's all in. She's not going to give up anytime soon. Mark is driven to get his wife out of there, and she's using that as leverage to push him into doing more and more dangerous things with this. But yeah, honestly, a lot of complexity going on. Really good episode, and I just want to get right to the next one. So, as always, thanks for watching, and peace.